Okay guys, this is my new Weatherby Vangaurd Talon. This is chambered in 300 Win Mag, and this is going to be my new backcountry hunting rifle. I got this rifle in hopes to set up, a backcountry rifle to hunt elk primarily. Next year, I'm going to be taking a trip out to Colorado and doing some elk hunting. So I don't have a rifle that is suitable for big game like elk or moose or something like that if I want to hunt in the future. So I figured it was a good time to go ahead and get something chambered in 300 Win Mag. One of the reasons why I chose this particular model, I found it to be kind of the best value option that Weatherby offers for a hunting rifle. You know, as most of you know, they have their Mark V lineup of rifles, which is sort of their tip of the spear, high-end rifles with, everything being manufactured and made in-house in Wyoming. And they have a backcountry lineup of rifles that are just absolutely beautiful. They have this same exact stock, the Peak 44 stock, which is ultra lightweight carbon fiber and just great for a backcountry setup. That being said, those Mark V backcountry rifles are really expensive, ranging anywhere from, $3,000 to $4,500 I've seen. That wasn't really in the budget. What Weatherby did in this last year was they released this model, which is the Vangaurd Talon. And what's neat about that is it utilizes the same exact stock as the Mark V backcountry, this Peak 44, but they have the Vangaurd action and barrel, which I believe is the same as the Howa 1500 action and barrel. Which is made in Japan. That action and barrel is still very, very accurate. The bolt throw is a little bit different than the Mark V. I think it's a 90 degree, but it's still a great setup. It's still sub MOA guaranteed from Weatherby, so it is a really good shooting rifle. So basically what that does is it makes this backcountry rifle more affordable than the Mark V backcountries. This particular model, the Talon, I believe retails for $1,500 or $1,600. I was able to scour the internet and find a great deal on this. It was around $1,100 new, I found it. So I was really excited about that, and I went ahead and got it. It just came in last week, so I'm just getting everything set up. I think I'm gonna try this out next week. Whitetail firearm season here in Pennsylvania starts, and I believe I'm gonna try this out. 300 Win Mag is, some people consider it to be a little bit too powerful for deer. I think as long as you're using the right ammo and you're making accurate shots, you're not going to destroy the meat, and it's going to be a good clean kill. So I'm going to probably try and go with this. If not, if I don't have time to get everything sighted in and everything kind of dialed into where it needs to be, I do have a 30-30 Marlin, which is great for whitetail hunting as well. All in all, this rifle is going to be my backcountry elk gun, and I'm really excited about it. I went ahead and I put a Leupold VX6 HD 3-18 scope on here, which I'm also excited about. It's got the fire dot duplex. It's pretty lightweight. I think this is going to be kind of a perfect lightweight setup for that backcountry style hunting. Looking at the action here, we have the standard Vangaurd action here, 90 degree bolt throw. Action's pretty smooth, and you do have that 3-position safety, which is nice because you can put the gun still in safe mode and you can still actuate the bolt. As for the barrel, we do have this spiraled barrel. This is supposed to help with dissipating some of the heat. We'll see how that does. We're going to be shooting 300 Win Mag out of here, so it is going to be getting pretty warm. And then here on the end of the barrel, we have, I think it's called the AccuBrake. It's Weatherby's muzzle brake that you can put here on the end of the barrel. It is threaded, so if you're running a suppressor, if you want to put a suppressor on here, you can. I may do that in the future, but for now, I'm just going to run this brake. One of the highlights of this stock is not only is it light, but it has this great 3D hex recoil pad. And from everything that I've read, this is really supposed to help with the recoil and soaking up a lot of that energy. I'm really excited to get this thing out there and dial it in, get the barrel broken in. Next, we're going to bring this to the range and just see what kind of groups we can get. Test out some different ammo and just see what kind of ammo it likes. Then we'll be ready to take this thing hunting. A few other accessories we have going on here is we have this. This is just a Vortex bubble level that I have mounted on the scope. It's gonna help if I'm out in the field just to make sure that my gun is level when I'm taking shots. Not sure if I'm gonna go bipod on this rifle or not. For hunting whitetail in a tree stand, obviously I'm not really gonna need a bipod, so it won't be there. Going out west, I don't know yet what I'm gonna do, but I do have some time because that's not until next year. Another thing I'm probably gonna install is this is just a Quake sling. It's pretty thick. It's got this rubber that's got some good grip on it. Don't know if I'm gonna be using this. This is like a cheek riser. This basically straps onto that like that. And you know, I played with this a little bit and it does kind of help out with the cheek weld, but it does add weight. Undecided whether I'm gonna use this or not. We'll have to see once I get to the range and shoot with it and see if it helps. One other thing that I'm excited about is the trigger on this rifle. Right out of the box, the trigger felt really good. It was light and it was very crisp. So I'm gonna go ahead and check what the trigger pull weight is. 2.56. Try again. 2 pounds, 8.2 ounces. We'll do one more. 2 pounds, 6.9 ounces. So yeah, right out of the box, right around, you know, 2 pounds, 6 ounces. I know you can adjust this a little bit more. It seems to me like that's pretty good and it feels good. But we will see at the range if it needs any more adjusting, but I don't think so. Okay, so let's get to the range and see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this. I'm gonna be bringing 4 different loads just to see, you know, what this gun likes the best. So let's go check it out. All right, guys, we are back from the range. We were dealing with some nasty, nasty weather. It was like 34 degrees, raining and sleeting, and pretty windy as well. What I did at the range was I broke in the barrel. You know, there's a lot of different opinions on whether you need to break in the barrel, different ways you should break it in. Nobody really knows the exact answer. But what I did was I just followed what Weatherby recommends. You know, what they have on their website and how they recommend you break in a barrel. And that process, it does take a while and it takes 20 cartridges. So the way their barrel break-in process works is first you clean the barrel, then you brush it a few times, then you dry it with patches, and then you lube it, and then you dry the lube with patches. It is kind of cumbersome. So you do that to start. Then you take 3 shots with load number 1. Then after 3 shots, do that same cleaning process again. Then 3 shots with load number 2. Then the same process of cleaning again. Then load number 1, clean. Load number 2, clean. And then one more load number 1, clean. And then load number 2 for 5. And that gets you to 20 rounds. My math might be off. I am not the best at math, but basically you're shooting 20 rounds and cleaning every 3 rounds in between. And that is supposed to help with clearing out some of the fouling, clearing out some of the lead, and just breaking in the barrel. So I went ahead and did that. And I did it mostly with these 2, the Hornady Hunter Precision 178 grain ELDX and 200 grain ELDX. So I used those 2 loads to kind of break it in. Then at that point, I kind of also tried to zero in my scope at the same time. I did bore sight it before I kind of started the process, so I was pretty close. So after I broke it in, I zeroed in the scope, let the barrel cool down a little bit, and then I decided to get some groups. Now it was starting to get dark, so I really only had time to get groups with 2 of these, and that was the Hornady Precision Hunter 200 grain ELDX and the Federal Premium Terminal Ascent 200 grain. I was really happy with actually how it shot both of these rounds. And the best group I got with the Hornady was 0.8, and the best group I got with the Terminal Ascent was 0.4. And I'll show you the 0.4. I thought the 3rd shot I completely missed, but when I went up, they were basically shooting into the same hole. So here we have our 3 shots. First shot, second shot, and 3rd shot. I was really happy to see that with this Terminal Ascent, and that is going to be the round that I decide to use for now. There was one other box of ammo that I did buy and I did want to test. That was the Nosler partition, but it didn't come in time to kind of test and compare with these other ones. .4 sub MOA with this terminal ascent. I am incredibly happy with that. You know, considering this is the first time I've ever shot a 300 Win Mag, and it took me a couple rounds to kind of get used to the recoil. So very happy with that. That's going to be my go-to round for now. Now let's get into the experience of shooting this at the range. So 300 Win Mag. The biggest caliber I've shot before getting this is probably 30-06, like an M1 Garand or something like that. I do have a 30-30 lever action Marlin that I've shot quite a bit, but coming to this 300 Win Mag, it's a big increase in recoil. And this does have the muzzle brake, but it's still, it took me a couple rounds to get used to, and you'll see in some of this footage, it's got quite a kick. They also say that, you know, this 3D hex pad helps out a lot, and the brake, and you know how solid this stock is, you know, all those are supposed to help with the recoil. So I can't really imagine shooting 300 Win Mag without a brake and without a nice butt pad. It must really kick. But with that being said, this is a light rifle. This is 6.3 pounds without the scope. And shooting 300 Win Mag with you know, a light rifle like that, I mean, it's just physics. My first 3 shots were like, damn, this thing is really kicking. After that, I kind of got into a groove and got used to it. You know, from really the 4th shot to maybe the 15th shot. I was really feeling good, feeling comfortable with the recoil, and feeling like I was managing it pretty well. Once I got to like the 18th, 19th, and 20th shot, I was definitely starting to feel it in my shoulder. I was able to continue shooting, but you definitely started to feel it. It felt like somebody was just throwing a haymaker right into your shoulder. You know, all in all, totally manageable. This is a hunting rifle. I'm not going to be using this plinking, shooting, you know, 100 rounds at the range. This is going to be used for, you know, bringing it to the mountains and harvesting a giant animal and, you know, just shooting it once or twice in the field and then periodically through the year just to kind of practice and get used to shooting it at range and becoming proficient with it. But it is not a plinker. So the recoil, definitely stout, definitely kicks like a mule, but it is manageable and I was able to shoot accurately. Also, the cycling of this bolt was perfect. I had no issues with failure to feed, failure to eject, anything like that. I'm not an incredibly seasoned shooter. I've never shot a 300 Win Mag and I was able to achieve sub MOA groups, so you know, it is manageable. One other thing to note, the bubble, the recoil sent this thing flying out around shot, I don't know, 7 or 8. This became dislodged and it was flying out. It looks like there's some super glue or something in there. I'm probably gonna have to double up on that or tape this. But if anybody has any tips on keeping this bubble secure under heavy recoil, please let me know. Now I was shooting this on a rest, not in a lead sled or anything like that, but I gotta figure something out with that. And the scope was rock solid. Really love this Leupold 3-18. I'll probably be doing another video just talking about this and how much I like this so far. It was relatively easy to dial in the 0, and the fire dot duplex, that illuminated dot is definitely helpful. All in all, I am super happy with how this rifle performed. It's zeroed in. I'm ready to take this hunting. Really excited about it. It did get a lot of moisture on it, so I gotta go and clean it. But if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.